Hello guys and girls, in today's tutorial for Java we're going to be working on file handling in Java. We'll be reading to file, writing to file, and also appending data to file. Okay, so when you say file handling, it means like reading from form and writing to file stored on your computer. uh, in Java, file handling is mostly done using classes and the Java IO package. Okay, let me code a little bit so you guys will understand what I'm about to say. So the next thing, I'll create a new package and I'll just name it course 14. Okay, then for the course 14, under the course 14, I'll create a new Java class and I'll name it main Java. Okay, so now since we are writing to file, there are many ways to do it, but this is the most logical and best practice that you can use, and I'm going to be showing you guys in this tutorial. So I'll just zoom this a little bit. I think 19 is good, and let's get started. Okay, so there are just basic steps you need to know. You have to know the location of the file you are trying to write to. Okay, so I'll create a file right on the before we start, because I usually forget this, psvm tab, so I can be able to access all the programs safely. So before we start, I'll go to my course 14 and I'll create a new file, and I'll just name the file myfile.txt. So and initially I'll copy the location of my file. So to copy the absolute part of the file, I'll just click on it and it's copied already. So anywhere you create your file, you can create it in your documents, in your main folders, or anywhere, but I'll just be creating mine here. Okay, so firstly, I'll just show you guys how to write to file. So to write to file, there are some modules in Java that you have to import as well. So what I'm going to be using to write to file in this tutorial would be what they are calling FileWriter. So to get started, I will import java.io.FileWriter. So to write to file in Java, you have to import this, and most of the time, Java will throw an exception error because you need to handle the exception safely when writing to file. But if it doesn't throw it for us, it will be lucky. It's lucky enough. So I'll just start the program. If Java declared or wants the error, the try and catch handling, the error handling, then we'll handle the error safely. So to get started, once I've imported your model FileWriter, so you're now safe and cool with writing to files. So FileWriter, you start with calling the class FileWriter that you imported, then name it any variable, but I'll just keep it consistent so I can understand and know what I used it for. So the variable name it is FileWriter writer is equals, then what's the value, new FileWriter. So then inside this, I'll just give my semicolon right here. So inside this value package, I'll paste the absolute part that I copied initially. So I'll just paste it. So if you see the part has double slash, what's this? It's called an escape sequence or something. So it's just used to, initially files come with one slash, and so it's usually used to confuse Java. So you should use this double slash. So IntelliJ initially helped us with that. Okay, so I think you should add like .txt to the end here, txt. Okay, so now let's get started. So this is how to write to file. So why is it showing me? Yeah, it needs handling. So I'll just import this. I'll just add exception to method square like this. So anyhow you want to do it, but Java needs the exception handling. You can either use try catch or you just throw the exception initially, like on the start of the program. Okay, so after putting the FileWriter, calling the name of your variable and the value with your file path, then the next thing, if you want to write to a file, all you need to do, just call the variable writer dot write. Okay, so what do you want to write to the file? So it's a very easy program. So I'll just say, hello, this is my first file in Java. Okay, So then this is the thing that will be that Java will write to the file. So if initially when writing to the file it doesn't give any new line, or it doesn't go onto a new line, it just writes straight. So what I'll just do here, I'll use the escape sequence with n \n. So it's just to create a new line when writing to the file. So the next thing, you have to, let me write any and that extra thing. So it's not one, you cannot just write one thing, you can write many other things as well. But it's not, I don't mean like you can't write one thing, but it's more cool to show you that like we can write extra things to the file. So I'll just write something like file handling is fun when you understand it. Okay, so these are the two things we are going to be writing to our file. So the next thing we are going to do is we have to close the file. So if you don't close the file, it can give unnecessary errors and many other things to your package. So to close the file, you just write writer.close and just call this, you call the close function, and then let's print out SOUT tab and print out successful after everything is successful. Okay, so we'll just print out the successful. So if I should run this program, yeah, you see successful right here, successful. So it doesn't show all this thing we wrote in our console window. Okay, so what I will do would be go back to my file. Oh, it's created a new file .txt. Okay, I think it's here. Yeah, so see, it's because I added text to the end, so I don't know, I'll just delete this. Okay, let me just delete this initial file. Okay, so my file.txt, so you can see the writing it wrote to it, successful, and it wrote to this, hello, this is my first file in Java. File handling is fun when you understand it. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be doing is so that is initially everything you need to know in writing to file. It's very easy. You call your function that you imported from using the Java module, you can write, you close your file and do any other thing. So it's very easy and also cool. So reading to file, it's actually not that difficult, but there are two ways for read with that you can use to read to a file. So the one that is more preferred that you can use to is it's more faster for reading like large files, and it's more cool, is the buffered reader. Okay, buffered reader. So I'll just cancel this program right here, and initially let me copy my file path firstly. So I'll just copy this file path because we'll still be needing it when reading the file. Okay, let me just copy this file path, then yeah, this one, Control C, then I'll just delete this program and show you guys how to read items in the file. So what we are trying to do now is to read this, hello, this is my first file in Java. File handling is fun when you understand it. So to read from a file, I'll be using BufferedReader. So I'm going to import, you go on top and do import java.io.bufferedReader. They have input stream for many things like videos and music and many other things, but now we're just working with file handling. So BufferedReader is this. So you import the BufferedReader to be able to read to the file, and I will just will I need FileReader? I'll just import FileReader as well, yeah, because I think I'll need it as well. java.io.FileReader. I don't know, FileReader. Yeah, so now we're going to be reading from the file that we created. So make sure you know where your file is initially. So to get started, the same thing as we did for the writing. I'm supposed to just put this thing on the, but anything, let's just go ahead. So the same thing we did for the writing, I'll call the BufferedReader class, then I'll name it any variable name. You know, the first one we initially named it writer, so this one will just say reader, or yeah, reader. BufferedReader is equals new BufferedReader. So what is it collecting inside as the parameter? What we are going to do, because it can't work alone, you must use like a file reader. So we'll do new file is inside the parameter new file reader, then we now put in the file path that I copied earlier. So I just pasted it right here like this, then I'll call my semicolon. So that's just basically it. I'll reduce this a little bit, like so you can see like this. So buffered reader, reader, new buffered reader, then inside the parameter of the buffered reader you call new file reader and then the path of your file. Okay, so that just basically it's for reading to file. Then when what we're going to do now, let's to read the content in a file, we're going to say because it's a string that we wrote, a string of text, so we say string, we'll just call it line. Each line uh we just say it equals reader dot read line. Okay, so we are going to be reading every line. So how to read, so if I just print this line, so to test the program, let me just print this line so you see what happens. So if shift F10, hold on, takes time. Okay, so it reads the line. It's like hello, this is my first file in Java. So you can see string line equals reader.read line. It does read only the first line if you print it out. But if you want it to print every single thing in the text, in your file text, all you just need to do basically is this. So we are going to use our while loop to read through it. So what we are going to do is while, as it keeps iterating, as long as the line is not equals null. So what this means is initially is that it keeps going, it keeps reading as long as there are still like text inside the file. So then what we basically print is SOUT tab line. So we'll just print the line out. So it keeps reading as long as the line is not equals null. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to close the reader dot close. Don't forget to close this when working in a big file, because it might give an unexpected issue to your file. So let me run this program. Oh, why am I in an infinite loop? Oh, it gave an infinite loop. I'll just crash the program before my system. What did I miss? Shift escape. So what did I miss? Is not equals null. Is not equals null. So what's the error? Let me check. Okay, let me just, is not updated. What should be the error in this? I think, okay, let me try this. Line equals read. Let me update it inside the loop. Let me see what happens. If it still works fine. Okay, let me check this now. Oh, so what's the issue? I think, let me just put this on the year. Okay, like this. Yeah, so hello, this is my first file in Java. File handling is fun when you understand it. So initially the error we're getting is that it said that the line was not updated inside the loop, so it just keeps printing all the line, like it just keeps printing all the line. So it's just basically it. So firstly, it prints out the line that is hello, this is my first file in Java. Then we now update it again to read the next line. Then it prints its tail, it gets null, then it breaks out of the loop. So it's just writing and reading to file is basically easy for writing and reading to file. Just know the main things are going to do. So you can read this reader.read line function, just reads only one line from the file. Then we use the while loop to keep reading every line as long as it's not null. So it will read and we'll update it again. I actually forgot, my bad. Oh, I forgot about this. So you read, then make sure you close your this thing. So I have a bonus for you guys, appending. I know you haven't seen much tutorials on appending to files. Okay, so to append to file, basically all you need to do is I'll just use this FileWriter. Okay, we are still with our FileWriter function. So I'll just call our FileWriter. It's just the same thing with FileWriter. I'll just call it writer or appender, anything you want to call it, equals uh, new FileWriter. So the same way we did our FileWriter, then I'll place my, no, not this, Control Z. I'll just go and copy the parts of my txt file. So copy path references, and I'll just click on it and it copies initially. Then I'll just go here and, sorry, not like that. I'll put this then inside this. Okay, so this is my file path initially. Then I will just go, so to append to file, all you just need to do is very simple. It's similar with writing to a file as well, but you just put this here true. So the true, it changes it to like append mode. That's basically all you need to know. So once you add true, it means that you want to append to the file, not write into the file, because writing to the file overwrites anything that is initially inside your file. So to append to a file, you just put true here and it turns it to append mode. So the next thing I'm going to do is you can just write anything. So you see what I mean. So if I do writer, I'll call my writer variable dot write and call the write function and say what should I put inside the file. I'll just give a new line and say this line is added later or something. Okay, so the next thing, make sure you close your file. So I'll do writer dot close because I forget every time, most of the time. So writer dot close. So the next thing is nothing else, but just make it more cool, I'll just print something else in the console and I'll say data appended successfully. Okay, data appended successfully, like this. Okay, so that's basically it for writing and reading to file. So this one is just the bonus I gave you guys for appending. Make sure you add your true when appending to file. So if I should run this program, hello, so it's appended. So hello, this is my first file in Java. File handling is fun when you understand it. Data appended successfully. So if I should go back to my file text, you see this line is added later. Just our simple text we used, like this line is added later. So that is basically it for understanding writing and reading files and also appending I gave you guys as well. So that just it. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can stay up to date on my latest videos, and also leave a like and comment as well. Your feedback really helps me create better content for you all.